Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
The digital asset investor, and I'm fixing to cover a guy who did a tweet that I liked, and I haven't even followed the guy. He copied me on the thing. Looks like he doesn't follow me. I'm going to follow him anyway, but I'll give him credit. This is from Joe Rivas, at Joe Rivas 1991, and he says, let's not forget about what South Korea is doing with XRP, 8,000 stores, and he copied me and a few other guys. And I went and looked at this article. I want to say in the past I've talked about this, but it's important to cover it, and there's a reason why. I've done videos explaining to you that in the past, Asia is where many of these bull markets rise up when the crypto really starts to run. And South Korea last year is what really spurred the bull run. And it also was a big part of why there was a crash when they started trying to do a crackdown over there. And so South Korea is huge. And South Korea is one of the biggest buyers of XRP specifically than any other market. And so this article is important. BitHum, which I've talked about before, BitHum is not only the largest exchange over there in South Korea, it's probably one of the largest exchanges of all crypto exchanges. And they recently announced that they were going to open or expand, I believe, into the United States. Well, this article talks about how BitHum has partnered with this Korea Pay service. And the reason they're doing it is that people are going to be able to buy XRP and other cryptocurrencies in initially 6,000 physical outlets in the first half of the year, and then 8,000 by the end of the year. And I've talked recently about how I thought the XRP ATM business would be an interesting business to explore for those of you out there. Well, this is an interesting. I'm not sure exactly how this one works, but the way I read it is more or less you could go into a physical location, walk out with something the equivalent of a certificate that shows how many you've bought or something to that effect, which is kind of how those ATMs work, I believe. Is you put in a credit card or something, and then you get a slip of paper that has your QR code and maybe your address for whatever cryptocurrency that you bought. But this is big. It's just another great example of how the volume is about to just increase dramatically across the board with just acceptance overall of cryptocurrencies and digital assets. Okay, well, the next thing I want to show you is very interesting. What I'm showing you here before I show you the article that I saw from today is I want to make the point and make sure some of you are new to this. Okay, Ripple is going after the payments and money transfers business, cross-border transfers business. That's their use case. They're trying to utilize XRP for that particular use case. That's what Ripple is doing. Well, Ripple has a suite of products. The first product is xCurrent, which is more or less a messaging system. xCurrent does not use XRP. xRapid is their product that uses XRP. So from the beginning of my talking about XRP, you've always had those people, the banks will never use XRP. They might use xCurrent and use Ripple software, but they're not going to use XRP. Well, what I've tried to explain over time, and what many people in this space have tried to explain, is that it's a phased. They're phasing in the product that xRapid that uses XRP. But the first step is to get these banks moving money faster than they ever have with xCurrent. And so xCurrent is just step one. But we always knew that what Ripple was going to eventually do, because using xRapid saves these banks money, and therefore it was just a matter of time. But first, you have to take baby steps. You do not go and try to sell every product you have to a bank, especially not to a bank, because banks move slower than most type of companies that might take on a new product. They move very slow because they're big, many of them, and they also have many more regulations than another company you might be trying to sell a product such as software to. So they have to check a lot more boxes than other companies. Well, first I want to just illustrate to you that it's not a question as to whether the use of xRapid, which uses XRP, saves money. This is one of the executives from Qualix that was the first company to start using xRapid. This was a tweet. You're looking at one of Hoder's blogs. This was from Nico Patton. He tweeted this back in January after they had been using xRapid in production. In my experience, costs and time dropped importantly. A cross-border payment between Mexico and the U.S. takes around 2 to 3 hours with an estimated fee of $30 US. Through Ripple, it takes around 3 to 5 seconds with practically no fee. Okay, and he was talking about xRapid. Then later in, this is from May, this is Ashish Burla. This is after they had 7 or so companies that were piloting xRapid. And he's talking about the results. It says, head of product Ashish Burla told CoinDesk that the company looked at 7 pilot projects, finding that the results were fairly similar across the board. As a result, the startup aggregated the data into the 40 to 70% savings released in the report on Thursday. He also noted that the transactions across borders took only a few minutes compared to a period of several days for traditional payments of that kind. And so the point is, and nobody's denying that using xRapid saves 40 to 70% for these banks and payment companies. Nobody's denying that. It's a fact now. And so the question is this, and so here's what the genius people at Ripple are doing, and we knew they were going to do it. I knew they were going to do it. So you first you get xCurrent into these banks and payment companies. That's step one. Just like I've told you before, Amazon sold books at first. Now they sell everything you can name under the sun. But first they sold books, and they got their systems correct. They got ingrained it with that particular business and learned how to do it and what worked and what didn't work. Ripple started out with xCurrent, which is their entry product. Now what you're about to see is from this came out from a conference that Brad Garlinghouse was at, and it was on, people were passing around different documents and different things that displays that Ripple had there. And one of the things that they showed was this sheet I'm about to show you. It says Ripple says xCurrent will let financial institutions seamlessly access XRP powered xRapid. And so this is one of the sheets that was going around, and they reference what's new with xCurrent 4.0. So they're already upgrading xCurrent. But as a part of this, if you read right here, increased product interoperability, seamlessly access xRapid for digital asset payments. In other words, imagine the screen that these bankers are looking at. imagine that you're a bank and you have a screen where if you use xCurrent, the money's going to get there really fast. And then you've got a little button over here that says, well, push this button to not just send the money that fast, but also to save 40 to 70% than what you're going to pay if you don't push this button. Well, that is what Ripple's doing next. And that is why you XRP holders out there are going to make a freaking mint, because the people at Ripple are geniuses. They know what they're doing. They've always known what they're doing. XRP saves money, and for that reason, it's just a matter of time. And the XRP bathtub is going to fill and fill and fill over time. And once the people that are getting in to this new asset class truly realize that bath water just continues to rise with the xRapid use case combined with all the future use cases, you watch that speculation money pile in on top of it. And that's where it gets really interesting. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that the digital asset investor said now these bankers are going to have a button to push that says, oh, you want to save 40 to 70%? Here's XRapid. Thanks for listening.